Broadcasting live from somewhere in the Shadow Realm, this is YuGiOh Deck Talk. Here's your host, Doug Dimmaduel.
Hey there, and welcome to another episode of YuGiOh Deck Talk. Today, we're going to revisit the relinquished deck and the Kaiju deck that we discussed in a previous episode, and really start touching on other bits and pieces that could be added. The idea was brought up by Vamp Demigod in the iTunes review section. I really appreciate you listening, Vamp Demigod. This one put out a really good idea regarding Graydle Alligator and really just taking advantage of your opponent's monsters and taking them over. So what I want to do right now is go through some of the Graydle monsters and just kind of discuss how much of an impact this could make in decks like Kaiju decks and decks like a relinquished deck. So first of all, the one that was brought up was Graydle Alligator. It is a level 3 Aqua, 500 attack, 1500 defense. Its effect is, if this card in your monster zone is destroyed by battle or spell effect and sent to your graveyard, you can target one face-up monster your opponent controls. Equip this card to that target. While this card is equipped to a monster by this effect, take control of that monster. When this card leaves the field, destroy the equipped monster. So, excellent card as far as it seems like certain decks, there's a lot of destructive capabilities with certain spell cards, so you'd be able to utilize that. And of course, the one example that was used was the Kaiju, the Interrupted Kaiju Slumber card. So using that to get Graydle Alligator to activate its effect, it's a possibility as well. So not a bad recommendation. Next here we have Graydle Cobra, a level 3 Aqua, 1000 attack, 1000 defense. If this card in your monster zone is destroyed by battle or trap effect and sent to your graveyard, you can target one face-up monster your opponent controls. Equip this card to that target. While this card is equipped to a monster by this effect, take control of that monster, and when this card leaves the field, destroy the equipped monster. So, another really good card. As you can see, what the trend is with these Graydle monsters is the ability to get destroyed and then take over one of your opponent's monsters. So depending on what kind of traps that you're working with, you could also utilize your own traps, let alone your opponent's traps, to destroy Graydle Cobra and take advantage of whatever your opponent has on the field. You know, or even in the case of Kaiju monsters, you could also take advantage of your Kaiju on your opponent's side of the field. So you can see where this is going. The next one is Graydle Eagle, 1500 attack, 500 defense. If this card in your monster zone is destroyed by battle or monster effect and sent to your graveyard, you can target one face-up monster, equip this card, and take control of that monster. So, as you can see, each of these Graydle monsters between Alligator, Cobra, and Eagle are all based on the three major pieces: the spell cards, the trap cards, and the effect cards. And a good visual indicator is based off of their artwork, because the Graydle Alligator is green, same color as a spell card. Graydle Cobra is purple, the same color as trap cards, and the Graydle Eagle is kind of that golden color that you would see with an effect monster card. The next card over here is Graydle Slime, the level 5 tuner with 0 attack and 2000 defense. If this card is in your hand or graveyard, you can target 2 Graydle cards you control, destroy them, and if you do, special summon this card. Now, keep in mind, too, if you have a Graydle Eagle out there, Graydle Slime would be just excellent in destroying those Graydle Eagles with the monster effect. So anyway, let me continue with the effect here. You can only use this effect of Graydle Slime once per turn. When summoned this way, you can target one Graydle monster in your graveyard and special summon that target in defense position. So what you'd be able to do is basically bring back out maybe one of your Cobras or one of your Alligators back out from the graveyard, leave it in defense position, and possibly destroy those with a spell or a trap card. So it really just depends, but there's a lot of good combos that you could do using Graydle Slime. Next, you have Graydle Slime Jr., a level 2 Aqua Tuner with 0 attack and 2000 defense. When this card is normal summoned, you can target one Graydle monster in your graveyard. For the rest of this turn, you cannot special summon other monsters except water monsters. Also, special summon that monster, then you can special summon from your hand one Aqua-type monster with the same level as the monster special summoned by this card's effect. When this card is destroyed by battle and sent to the graveyard, you can special summon one Graydle monster from your deck. So, this monster just really gets different Graydles onto your field, just in a whole plethora of ways. So, And because of the effect where you could get another Graydle monster with the same level, all three of them, Graydle Alligator, Cobra, and Eagle, are all level 3 monsters, so you would absolutely be able to get multiple copies of these different Graydles out onto the field. So, and of course the other search feature at the end, where you can special summon one Graydle monster from your deck, that is just an excellent search feature that is included with Graydle Slime Jr. So moving into the spell and trap cards, we have Graydle Impact, which is a continuous spell card. You can target one other Graydle card you control and one card your opponent controls. Destroy them. During your end phase, you can add one Graydle card from your deck to your hand. You can only use one Graydle Impact effect per turn, and only once per turn. So this is a pretty good utility spell card that is absolutely just, it'll really help you destroy your opponent's monsters if you want certain ones destroyed, or if there's certain ones that you want to take over. Use this card to get your Graydle Alligator destroyed, and go from there. Next, into the traps, we have Graydle Combat, which is a counter trap card. When a spell or trap card or monster effect that targets exactly one Graydle monster you control and no other cards is activated, activate one of the following effects. The first effect is the activated effect becomes destroy that monster. The second one is negate the activation, and if you do, destroy that card. So if it is a card that could potentially target your Graydle Cobra, you would rather it destroy that Graydle Cobra so you could take over one of your opponent's monsters. If it's something that isn't necessarily going to benefit you, then negate the activation of the card and destroy the card. So Graydle Combat is just, there's multiple ways to use it to your advantage. So that's a good card. Next, you have Graydle Parasite, which is a continuous trap card. When an opponent's monster declares a direct attack, you can special summon one Graydle monster from your deck in attack position, if you control no monsters. When a Graydle monster you control declares a direct attack, you can target one monster in your opponent's graveyard, special summon that target to their side of the field if they control no monsters. You can only use each effect of Graydle Parasite once per turn, so you can use both effects in essence. Next, you have Graydle Split, which is a normal trap card where you target one face-up monster you control and equip this card to it. It gains 500 attack. During your main phase, you can send this card equipped to a monster by this effect to the graveyard, destroy the monster this card was equipped to, and if you do, special summon 2 Graydle monsters with different names from your deck, but destroy them during the end phase. You can only use this effect of Graydle Split once per turn. So you could really use this card to your advantage if you have Graydle Cobra in more ways than one. So you can see how these trap cards and the one spell card really help out a Graydle archetype in any type of deck build. So, of course, I can't discuss Graydle monsters without the Synchro monster that is also included with this, and it is Graydle Dragon. A level 8 Aqua Synchro with 3,000 attack and 2,000 defense. It requires one Aqua type tuner and one or more non-tuner monsters. When this card is Synchro Summon, you can target cards your opponent controls up to the number of water monsters used for the Synchro Summon of this card and destroy them. If this card is destroyed by battle or card effect and sent to the graveyard, you can target one other water monster in your graveyard, special summon it, but its effects are negated. You can only use each effect of Graydle Dragon once per turn. So aside from the fact of it being a 3,000 beater, it really helps clearing your opponent's field if you're using 2 or more water monsters to Synchro Summon. So say, for example, you are using Graydle Slime Jr. as the tuner, and Graydle Eagle and Graydle Cobra as the non-tuner pieces. There's 3 water monsters, so already you're able to target and destroy 3 of your opponent's monsters because you used 3 water monsters. So this has the ability to do some devastation to your opponent in more ways than one. So Graydle Dragon is an excellent synchro. I highly recommend running that in your extra deck if you're running Graydles at all. But at the end of the day, their strategies really come into play in an excellent way if you're running some type of Kaiju deck or even some type of relinquished deck. So it's just something for you to think about. I really thank Vamp Demigod for putting that recommendation into the iTunes comment section. So thanks again for listening too. So anyway, that's it for today's episode. If you have anything that you want to add or any other recommendations for Graydles or any other type of archetype which you've been playing a lot lately, or you think meshes well with other archetypes which necessarily may not necessarily be all too much common, feel free to reach out on Twitter at YuGiOh Deck Talk. It's all one word, at YuGiOh Deck Talk. And I'd love to hear from you and potentially bring it up in a future episode. So everybody listening, thanks again for tuning in, and we'll see you next time. Take care.